you can't say we've done all this without them going, there's still work to be due.
Right.
Yeah, adults assumed that before the conversation started. That's why you're not adults, and you're so fucking tedious.
Right.
Because adults assume things, the nuance part of it that doesn't have to, but you saintly people have to hear it. Okay, yes, of course, we get it.
Bill Maher brought on this woke idiot onto his show, the Club Random Podcast, and Bill Maher had to shut this guy down for how ridiculous he was getting about a certain topic surrounding racism. Bill Maher just had to call him out for how ridiculous the woke left has gotten and how brainwashed these people are into thinking, you know, that the racism problem is still super prominent in America. And Bill Maher just absolutely shut this guy down. Very surprising to me that he would shut someone down on this topic, but it does seem like Bill Maher is somewhat turning over a new leaf when it comes to a lot of these woke issues. Let's get into this clip here where Bill Maher shuts down this woke idiot Andrew Sullivan here on the Club Random Podcast.
It was a really incredible bunch of guys.
I read your column recently, and you were quoting a stat about London, which resonated with me because I sort of said the same thing in a different way anecdotally, that the first time I went to London was 1984, and it was a completely white city. And then I went back, and I think, I don't know, but the last time I was there, it looked like New York, which I'm saying happily, celebrating that. But you were making the point that I think the stat was like it went from in 50 years.
The people, you can be happy about that. Bill Maher can be happy about that. The people of London are not happy about that. Okay, they're not.
It's from 86% white to 36 or
39, yeah.
Okay, so
in 50 years. That
and
is...
your point, one I'm often making also, is like, just don't gaslight me. Don't be like the world is irredeemably racist or it can't change, because we have the statistics. It can. We're not people who should be deprived of the joy of celebrating our progress. And, you know, that, but they equate it with, you can't say we've done all this without them going, there's still work to be due.
Right.
Yeah, adults assumed that before the conversation started. That's why you're not adults, and you're so fucking tedious.
Right.
Because adults assume things, the nuance part of it that doesn't have to, but you saintly people have to hear it. Okay, yes, of course, we get it.
It's fucking amazing, the things that happen today that we take for granted, and all they complain about. I mean, again, this is like, where was I going with that?
But I mean, London to go, but just let me pause.
But yes, and also, and by
to go
and
from
large,
86% to 39%. To 39%, it's like, don't tell me things don't change.
And
yes.
Show me the white supremacist marches. Show me the other part of this is, look, to me, it's, look, your regular English people, traditional people out in the countryside, out in the small towns, the some old Londoners, they're going to find this kind of weird. They're going to absolutely find this a little bewildering. You know, they're going to find this a little hard to take in, and they're going to have reactions to it.
That London looks so diverse?
Suddenly like,
of course,
or that it's so rich, or that it's the center of, like when I
like Bill Maher's take on this, and that there has been a ton of progress made. Like I don't think anyone should be discriminated on based on race. I don't think I know I'm virtue signaling hard here. Just give me a second, and I'll get through the virtue signaling. I don't think anybody should be discriminated based on race. I don't think white people should, which they are very much so. Asians are as well when it comes to getting into Ivy League schools. And also black people, I think that there is still some instances of that as well. Nobody should be discriminated based on race, okay? We got the virtue signaling out of the way. With that being said, there is always going to be discrimination when it comes to assuming certain things about people based on what race they are or where they came from and things like that. Humans are naturally a tribal people, right? Every single animal is not every single animal, but a lot of animals, especially mammals, are very tribal. We are naturally tribal. So yeah, the people of London, whenever they went from, I don't know, whatever they said, 90% white to 35% white in the span of 50 years, they probably don't like that very much because it's not natural. And honestly, that's probably not how humans should be living, to be honest with you. Like they probably should be living within their tribe. You know, that's probably what's ingrained inside of our brain, that every human should be living within their tribe with people that look like them, people that talk like them, things like that. In high school, it's not like people were racist in high school. Like, we weren't blatantly racist. Like, I hate you because you're this color. No, but we did have tables of people at lunch, the Asian table, the black table, the white table. It wasn't like it was assigned. We just naturally gravitated towards each other's tables. And obviously, like, we would mix together, right? Like, there was some white people that would go talk to the black lunch table and sit there sometimes, and a couple of black people would come talk to the white people. The Asians most of the time just stayed together. I'm not like they didn't really talk to anybody, but like, I'm sure that's how most schools are. That's just what naturally happens. You know, we were in middle school, so it's not like we had a well thought out plan to segregate the lunchroom. That's just how humans naturally are. So yeah, like Bill Maher said, there's always going to be more work that can be done, because humans are naturally tribal. That's never going to change. People can act as if they're not. You can act like in the comments, you can virtue signal like I was doing earlier and tell me I'm evil for saying that humans are tribal, but that's just the truth. So these people that are always trying to say that, you know, there's more work to be done, that there's still racism out there, there's always going to be that, because humans are tribal. And I think everybody would be a lot happier if we stopped trying to act like we aren't and just started embracing it. And it doesn't have to be a hateful thing, but we can just accept the fact that we are tribal and start living that way. It's not like we hate other colors or anything like that, but just be tribal. It's fine. It's in our nature.
When I used to go to London, it was a totally different city when I left it. Now I feel like I'm going to an American blue city. I have the same facilities. I have the same
of course,
options.
in the march of human history down the road of progress, there are always going to be stragglers. There are stragglers in this country. Yes, stragglers by the millions.
Okay.
The point is, exactly, you can't like just stop every set of ideas that doesn't make you go, and there's more work to be done.
Yeah.
Just acknowledge.
They won't actually celebrate success.
The stragglers don't have power anymore.
They don't, by and large, but also my feeling is...
And they're not popular. It's not popular to be racist.
Of course it isn't. It isn't.
So, like, yes, is there work to be done? And then you've also written about this. I love the kind of, like, attitude that some wokesters have about, well, if only the older white people would die. Like, you're perfect at handling the world, I'm sure, darling. You'd like this, hurry up, die. I think you wrote that, hurry up and die. It's like, what a terrible attitude to have.
I know.
Even with people, and people essentially on your side politically, even, but also, of course, the Trumpsters. If they would just die, then things would be perfect, because...
again, do they hear themselves?
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
Hear themselves, the way they talk about large groups of people. My feeling is, look, in all of human history, the vast majority of it, like think of England. This is another stat. In 2015 alone, more people net migrated into the United Kingdom than all the people that migrated into the United Kingdom from 1066 to 1950.
In 1 year?
In 1 year.
2015, okay.
The pace of this is unprecedented in human history. Now, America's different. America's always had this massive amounts of new people coming in New York.
Right.
The fact that London, no one goes to a little island off the rainy island off the top across of you to seek their fortune. Some people did from the Commonwealth and elsewhere, but no, people left those islands by and large. And the people that stayed there had such an incredibly homogeneous, even genetically. They're in an island. They're cut off. Suddenly, their whole world is revolutionized.
Right.
Of course, you're going to have people who are going to feel upset and confused and feel like they're losing a sense of their country and who is this and whatever. And the worst thing my brother said this to me about London once we were talking. I'm going to London for the weekend. He said, well, it's not our capital anymore, is it?
Oh. Yeah, I mean...
He didn't mean it racially.
No,
honestly.
and that's
He did not mean it that way.
That's the nuance that they refuse to see or understand.
It's not like the English have their English capital. Right. It's a total...
No, they do mean it racially, but there's nothing really wrong with... Like, I just don't understand. Like, as long as it's not a hateful thing, it's like, I don't get it, man. Like, I don't understand why the race thing has to be so taboo, but it just is, man. Like, I wish we could just say there should be areas allocated to certain races. Like, that just should be, I don't know. I know that sounds horrible, but it doesn't have to be a hate-filled thing. And I'm not saying like, oh, there should be water fountains that are only for white people and only for black. Like, obviously that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying like, the people of London have been trying to protest and keep their capital for the longest time, and now it's completely overrun. Like it's really bad over there, you know? And what I'm saying is, whenever you import a bunch of people, a bunch of immigrants that come from completely different cultures into a city that has a culture that people are used to, obviously the culture is going to change. Whenever you go from 90% white to 35% white, well, that large percentage that went away, that there's going to be a large culture shift as a result of that. And so it's not just about, oh, I don't want to see anybody of another race. It's now I have to exist in a culture that I'm not familiar with, that I'm not comfortable with, and that hurts my quality of life. I don't want to live like that. So now I have two choices. I can either stay here and suffer and live inside of a culture that I didn't grow up in, that I don't enjoy, or I can leave and uproot my entire life and go somewhere else. Like that's just, it shouldn't be taboo to talk about that. It shouldn't be wrong to say, but it just is, I guess. But a shout out to Bill Maher for shutting down this guy and just telling it how it is, man. He really did tell it how it is. I appreciate that. He definitely did call out this guy for trying to say that the racism problem is so, still extremely relevant in the modern day. And it somewhat is, I guess, but not even close to as much as they try to make it out to be. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Bill Maher shutting down this guy for bringing up the racism topic and shutting down the entire woke cult for how much they push this racism issue. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Bill Maher versus this woke idiot here on the Club Random Podcast.